week, family. But yeah, peace and love out to the family. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we are at the Iwaku Cafe. Let me do this real quick. Ikawa Cafe. And yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. Today it's around, well, yesterday we had some rains, so it cooled everything down. Today is like 73 degrees Fahrenheit. The high today probably like 75, maybe 76, something like that. Humidity's around like 60s, in the 60s, family. Humidity's in the 60s. The dew point is feeling like it's around 58 degrees, family. It's not too compressed feeling or sticky out here, but it does got a little stick to it. If you're running or jogging or anything, going up hills, you want to make sure that you have a proper shirt and clothes on. Make sure you don't have no hoodies on or no sweatpants on, because you might end up passing out, family, because it's extremely, okay, so it's a little janky. All right, so what we're going to do is going to try to get the live a little more clear than what it is, so hold on, family. Now it's messed up again. Get this right before we really get started. We got a good one for you today, family. There is actually a dew point. The dew point is like around like 58 degrees. 58, maybe 59 degrees, yeah. But anyway, is it better now? Okay. Go like this if it's good and like this if it's not, okay? Did you see what I did? Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, but we're going to get started, family. You know who it is. It's the unapologetic, no mask, and we unapologetic.
Nomadic, yeah.
Yeah. And we got Ayla in the building.
Hi, I'm Ayla, your favorite. Thank you.
Yeah. But it's like 30% chance rain today. Maybe around like 3 p.m. What's up, Generate? Yeah, my eyes is bad, so it's hard for me to see small. What's up, Mary? How y'all doing? Welcome. Karibu San. Yeah, and we have the one and only, the magnificent, the wonderful, beautiful wife in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Peace, love, and light from us to you out there. Thank you for tuning in again. We have a great show today for you guys. Before we get started, let's handle some business. I want you to preserve your legacy with Legacy Productions LLC, which was founded to educate, advance, and publish knowledge of family preservation. Emphasis is on documenting one's life experiences, social history, and lessons learned to pass down to future generations. They have a living legacy of precious memories in the youth version, as well as the adult version. Those documents were created to help you preserve your legacy, saving you and your family the stress and time and frustration of having to recreate the social history and life experiences of a deceased family member. So be proactive and plan ahead. Visit LegacyProductionsLLC.com and check out the wealth of literature and different books that they have available for you to help you with your future planning. Shout out to Legacy Productions LLC. Also, for you readers out there, I want you to check out this new author. Her name is Janilla Dominique, as she brings us 3 new books. The first one, I Am Unapologetically Me, comes in 2 versions, one for boys and one for girls. Her new books are books with powerful daily affirmations for everyone, not just girls and boys, but women and men also. Her third book, entitled Zoom Zoom, is a dedication to her nephew's adventures in Harlem, New York. So get your copy now at Amazon.com and other retailers. And lastly, for those of you, somebody's going by. We're waiting for the noise to pass. All right. Almost there. I think they're going by, somebody's going by in a car. It's like a loud speaker or something. For those of you who love learning languages and are interested in learning Swahili, you want to check out English Swahili for You on YouTube. So I'm going to put the link in the chat section for you, but the channel again is English Swahili for You. Check them out. They already have about 8 pre-recorded lessons on the page for you. And those of you who are interested in learning Swahili, definitely you want to check them out. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so how you been doing? You been good?
I'm great. It's a beautiful day. I'm excited to talk to my sister here, and we're going to introduce you to in just a few moments. And this is also the grand opening for Ikawa Cafe. Yes. So many great things happening right now today, and the sun is shining. It's beautiful. Yes. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's nice. It's bright out here. It's a little cloudy, but you know, it's cool. It still feels good. We definitely need the rain. So yeah, it's nice and lovely. All right, I like how Ayla don't tell me when the thing is janky, and I just told you. Huh? All right.
Oh, it's coming back. It's going.
Okay. All right. So Ayla, how you doing today?
Good. Very good.
Have you started your gaming channel yet?
Not yet, because I've just started school again, but I'm going to try to, like, pick some days to do it. And then I've been practicing a little bit, getting some games and deciding what I'm going to stream for my gaming. Follow me here, I guess, on my YouTube channel. It's in the chat, AMJ Legend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Cool. I don't know if you did greetings to everybody who's on there. Greetings to all of you who are tuned in the chat right now. The Lion and the Mouse. Shout out to Mary Hargrave. Shout out to Generette Imashumwe. To If You Knew Better, You Do Better. Shout out to you. And AMJ Legend. I think that's Ayla. All right. And M. Nkuzi. Yes. Shout out to all you guys who are in the chat right now. And everybody who's just tuned in, who's listening and checking us out. All right, so let's meet our guests for today.
Right. Yes. So. All right.
All right. So I'm just kind of nervous, but at the same time, I mean, I know her, and it's like just reading about her and just knowing the.
It stopped. Okay. So it's kind of blotchy.
Okay.
We're gonna try to get this straight, family. Hold on one. Yeah, fam. I'm trying to get it back on. Let us know if it's back on yet. All right. We probably go over here, fam. Yeah. All right, we back, family. We had to go inside. For some reason, outside does not work too good with the internet in certain spots, but it's cool for the most. Okay. Okay. So we're going to get everything set up over here and make sure that everything is good for your viewing pleasure, family. That's right. We are inside the Ikawa Cafe. Today is actually the grand opening. So, yeah, you fit to do it. That's right. We got good times behind us and good times before us, family. Hopefully we back on. Hopefully the stream ain't janky. I can't tell right now. It's good. Okay, so the stream is good. All I need is like a chair or something where I can like be right here. Yeah. Thank you, Ayla. Yeah. But we here, family. We had to come inside. It's a nice ambiance in here anyway. Look. Yeah, very nice ambience going, as you can see. Well, let me go this way. Yeah. As you can see, family. Yeah.
Here is a chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayla. You be looking out. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. I can't wait for my ribs to come. Oh, man. But yeah.
Yes.
All right, now the lighting over here is not good right here, so maybe right here would be better for both. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sorry about the jankiness. But we gotta make it do what it do, family. We live. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Peace and love to the family. We got any members in here? Peace and love to all the family. Yeah. All the subscribers, we love them. We appreciate you all. Yeah. All right, so we good.
All right. So it brings me great pleasure to introduce to you someone I'm very fond of. She is our sister, who is also coming from the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. And what's so fascinating about her story is she has been in Rwanda for 9 years. 9 years. And when I found that out, it blew my mind. I'm like, wow. I haven't met anyone who's been here that long. And it is a pleasure. Not only that, she's an administrator and head of school for the White Dove Global Prep School right here in Kigali, Rwanda. And it's amazing. We're going to get deep into her journey and find out how did she do that. And one thing before we get started is that when she came here, she didn't even intend on staying. So that's another thing that just kind of blew me away. So it blew me away because she didn't even intend on staying when she first got here. But yes, she's been here for 9 years. Amazing story you're about to hear. And I bring you the one and only Miss Patrice Dorrall. That's right. Thank you. Yes. So Patrice, my first question is tell the viewers, when did you touch down on the continent of Africa?
Okay, the first time I came to the continent was in 2009. In February of 2000. And I actually lived in a place called Pando, which is about, I think it's like 4.5 to 5 hours outside of Accra. And I was at the Heart Haven Orphanage, which is an orphanage for children who had either lost their parents to HIV/AIDS or who actually had it. And I went back 2 years in a row for that same orphanage and just volunteered, and also for some time worked into one of the village schools teaching English.
Wow. Okay, and this was Ghana.
That was Ghana.
All right, so from Ghana, where did you touch down next?
Now, so 2009 and 2010, I was in Ghana.
Okay.
2011, I was back in the States trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And then that's how the connection to Rwanda came, because I ended up going to New Zealand to be a part of a program by the Global Volunteer Network called Be the Change.
Right.
While I was at Be the Change, I met a lot of wonderful people, but I really connected with a guy named Alan Walker, who's from Scotland. And he, at the time, had a small NGO here in Rwanda. And as we talked, he just asked me if I would be interested in coming over and doing some liaison work for him. He actually would bring groups of young Scottish students to Rwanda, and so he just wanted me to do some like groundwork for that. So I came to do that, but we found out the night, like not even the night, I think maybe 2 or 3 days before I was supposed to leave, the pastor's family that I was supposed to stay with, he said he wasn't around. And so it was like, where am I going to stay? Where, who am I going to be with? And so Alan then called another friend he had in the UK who said, I know someone in Rwanda, and I will ask him if Patrice can stay with him. And so they called him, his name was Fred Buenza. We're still very close to this day. And he said, we just moved in our house, we just built our house, so it's not completely finished, but she's welcome to stay here. And so Fred and his wife Venna picked me up all those years ago, and it's probably still the closest family I'm to now. I ended up staying with them for 6 weeks, and then after 6 weeks I had to leave, not because they wanted to kick me out, but because they had already, they had other guests coming in. They had other guests coming in, and so from there Fred was like, okay, we need you to stay in our community. So he asked a young lady from his church who was single, like, do you have a room that Patrice could possibly stay with? She said yes. Wow. Her name is Julie. And so that's how we got the connection with Meagan and Christian, who I'm raising. Yes. So I was living with Julie, and then one day, out of the blue, Julie comes and tells me, my sister, who's living in Uganda right now, she's getting ready to have a baby, and she wants some baby names, and she wants an M. And so I was like, oh, I like Morgan, and I like Meagan. End of discussion.
Wow.
A few months later, Julie comes to me and she says, my sister is here in Rwanda. She came to try to start life over, get a fresh start, and she has her 2 children. I did not make the connection because it really the naming of the baby thing was really just a really quick conversation. And so she said, well, she's going to come and visit me. Her place was really, so it was like walk in the front door, slap the back wall, small. So she was like, is it okay? I said, yeah, it's fine. So she comes with her 2 kids, and she has this little 2-year-old boy, and she has this baby that's wrapped like she's going skiing in Alaska in this thing. And I I pulled back the little white blanket that was on her, and I said, oh, she's cute. And I just went about my way. And I love kids, so it wasn't a thing of not liking it, but I was on my way to the school that I was volunteering at the time. And so we were in this house for like the first week. And I would come in the house and I would say, oh, the baby is really cute, and I talked to Christian, and Christian only spoke Luganda at the time because he was born in Uganda, and so that was his first language. And then one day I told the mom, I said, you know what, I do like babies, and I want to pick your baby up, but she doesn't have a diaper. And so the mom was like, I don't have money to get a diaper. So I went in town, bought some Huggies, put a diaper on Megan, which I later found out it's the Megan that I named. Put a diaper on Megan. She was 2 months old. I picked her up, and I've literally never put her down again. That's my baby. If I bought her here, y'all would be like, So from there, I ended up, her mom's name, her name is Mekhi. We have a really good relationship. Mekhi actually lives in Dubai right now.
Wow.
But, young couple, not, dealing with the real realities of poverty in Rwanda.
Okay.
And I just fell in love with the kids. And so I had to go back to the U.S. for like 6 weeks. And when I came back, I got off the plane and I said, Julie, take me to the baby. Where's the baby? And she said, oh, my sister got her own place. And so I ended up going and finding them. And the baby was with what they would call here a house girl. And most of the house girls that are paid by people who don't have a lot of money, they're just girls that just finished secondary school and they just need a job. They don't necessarily know how to take care of a baby. So I went to the house and I went to pick up Megan, and I was calling her name, and her eyes weren't moving. Like she would, day in and day out, she was literally just laying on her back in a dark room. Maggie was working. Her mom was working 6 days a week, making $100 a month. And I just went to her mom's job. I said, I'll be right back. I went directly to her mom's job, and I said, I don't want to take your baby, but I do want to help you with your baby. And from that day, Megan has always lived with me.
Oh my goodness.
And so, and then her brother, I was supporting him up until the age of 4 financially, and then at 4 he came to live with me too.
Oh wow.
But it's all one big family. So in order to I told her mom, I said, you know what, you are their mom, I am their godmother, and we're all one big family. Their mom was just here. She was here for 3 months. She stayed at my house because she lives in Dubai now. A lot of Africans, as I'm sure you know, go to Dubai looking for work. And but they are with me. And the good thing is, while she was here this time, is when we worked on all of the paperwork so that they could travel with me. So that is why this being able to do this trip is like a big deal. A lot of people think, I don't like when people are like, oh, you did such a great thing for those kids. I'm like, no, you need to understand what they did for me. Because I'm not married, I don't have children, and I always tell people, I'm like, Megan, I've been taking care of both of them, and I love them both. But Megan was 2 months, and it's like she filled the void of my womb, like literally. That's how, you know what I'm saying? So I don't look at it as, oh, these poor little African kids that I took in. I look at it as, there was a reciprocal type of love going on. I love those kids.
Like it takes a village. Right?
Yeah. Megan and Christian are my world. People ask me now, when will you leave Rwanda? And I said, when they are getting on the plane and going to university and waving, Mom, we did it. We made it. then I'll start trying to decide what I'm going to do next.
Oh my God.
But I truly believe that I'm in their life
Yes.
just to change the course and the pattern of poverty.
Wow.
So everybody's in their life, their mom, their dad, their grandmother, all of their aunties. Their aunt, the one that I was living with, she's actually the CEO of Masaka Creamery. Have you ever seen Masaka yogurt and Masaka?
Yes.
Their aunt is the CEO.
Oh, wow.
So they don't, it's a very different story. And when I first got Meagan, I mean, there were literally Rwandans that were like, don't do that, don't raise somebody. And I'm like, no. And that's my girl.
That's beautiful. So how old are they now?
Meagan turned 8 last week.
Oh,
She turned 8 years old, and Christian is 10.
look at that.
Christian is 10.
Look at that.
And
You are truly a blessing, Patrice.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. You're extraordinary. That's beautiful.
so that's how I got those
That's
two.
beautiful.
And I always tease Meagan because I'm like, Meagan, I want to get another baby. She's like, no, I am
she's
it.
the baby.
But I
Just
can't say
spoiled.
I wouldn't do it again. I recently met another little boy.
Uh-oh.
I always tell people, don't tell me the stories. If you don't tell me the stories, then I don't get pulled in. I recently met a little boy. He's 6 years old, and his mom, another mom that loves her son dearly. But here, it is very common that if a mom doesn't stay with a husband and remarries, the kids from the other marriage don't go.
Oh, they stay with the dad.
That's no.
What's it?
They just stay with whomever.
Oh.
Okay, so that's
wow.
like a common thing, especially in the villages,
Okay.
where the new spouse doesn't accept your kids.
Oh.
And so this little boy was living with his grandmother, but the grandmother was living in a village where they didn't really value education. And so the grandmother was concerned because their own family was like trying to find ways to stop this little boy from going to school and wanted him to actually go and help raise some cows. And so when I found out, I said, no. And so I found a place that would take him in. And he went there and he stayed there and he did great there. But recently we reunited him back with his mom. She's now no longer with the second husband. Reunited him, and I was torn because I was like, I think I'm gonna take this little boy. I'm gonna take another little boy.
you wanna take him?
Oh my God! But what I did, my friend Fred, that I was talking about in the beginning, that I lived with, the first family I lived with, he always tells me, Patrice, it's okay to help people, but you can help them where they are.
Okay.
He was like, you don't have to bring. So I took his advice in that situation and recently put the little boy in a very, very good school.
All right.
And supporting him that way. And he called me and said, thank you, my mom. And, and so I get the same type of gratification. But I tell people all the time, don't tell me the stories because I do, especially when it has to do with children.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
The kids, it just
Love 'em.
sucks me in. So.
But you have a big heart. That is beautiful. Big heart. So tell me, wow. So now, let's fast forward. Let's back up a little bit. So you're in Rwanda. Tell us how, because I know you turned White Dove Global Prep, which it was renamed by you, right?
Yes.
Okay, you turned that around. Like, what was it like when you first got there? Can you tell us that story?
To tell you, it was called White Dove Girls School. It was actually founded by Americans from Minnesota who did not know me and I did not know them. So I have a friend, she's pretty popular too. She's a praise and worship leader. Her name is Tanya Hughes Kendrick. Same. Okay.
Wow.
It's actually, that was the connection with Stevie Wonder, if we get to Stevie Wonder. So,
yeah, we're going to get to that.
Tanya's son
Yes.
also is a phenomenal singer. And
All right.
so many, many years ago, after I came to Rwanda, I think it was 2014,
Okay.
their son was singing at a fundraiser, and Tanya just went to support. And so while she's at the fundraiser, she hears the guy talking, and the guy says, I'm from Rwanda, I'm from White Dove Girls School. And so Tanya just turned to the person next to her and said, my friend lives in Rwanda, and she's an educator. It happened to be one of the board members for the school.
Wow.
So they, that board chair and another board member, they actually flew to Rwanda and found it.
Wow.
And so they asked me if I would come and help with English language development And like a few things administration-wise, it was a hard no for me at first. I was like, no, because at the time I was planning on putting my own school here by that time. Not when I first came. I came in 2012. I didn't start thinking about putting a school here until 2014.
Okay.
And so I met with them. I ended up going. It was my first time working with all girls, my first time working with high school. All of my schools have always been nursery and elementary and middle. And for the same reason I didn't want to do high school in the States, it's the same reason I didn't want to do it here, because they got too much mouth.
Yeah.
And so I went, and it was a school operating in the deepest levels of scarcity that I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I'm talking about the culture, just the management, just everything. Well, I started, after a while I realized y'all didn't want me for English language instruction. Y'all want me for more than that. And that was your way of trying to put me in.
Nice.
I started working, and then they asked me in 2015 if I would become the principal. And I said, you know, these things have to change. And they met everything that I asked. But then in 2017, at the end of 2017, out of the blue, the board chair flew here. They had went through several in the time that I was in school and said, we don't have any more money. And basically it was my responsibility to shut it down, and I just couldn't do it. So I stopped taking the salary completely.
So you stopped taking your own salary so that you could help.
Yeah. Most of the time that I've been in Rwanda,
Wow.
I haven't had a salary.
Oh my goodness.
So, and no, it's just by the grace of God. I don't have supporters from America.
Wow.
It literally is the grace of God that I've been able to survive and do what I'm doing. But I stopped taking a salary. I didn't want to disappoint the staff. I didn't want to disappoint the girls. And then I said, you know what? The original founder of White Dove Girls School, he has passed on now. But he had told me before he passed, he said, I want you to take this and I want you to make it into something. So a lot of times I always give them their credit because I'm not the founder, but I am the transformational visionary.
Right.
So I changed it. It was a girls' school that was like a computer science workforce development school. I changed it to a college prep school.
Nice.
Changed to the national curriculum. First we had all girls, and then in 2020 we introduced boys.
Nice.
And I had a big thing about global education. And there are other schools here that do periodically send their students places, but I was big on it. And I was determined that I was going to be the first to take kids to Black Girls Rock, the Black Girls Lead.
All right.
And so in this time, we've had students that have gone to Malawi, to Ghana, to Kenya, to Malaysia, South Korea, the United States several times. And now, when we started finally graduating, we didn't graduate our first class in the college prep program until 2017. And since then, we have students that are studying in the USA, in Canada, in Mauritius, in China, in Rwanda. And so that's the part that I'm really proud of, is allowing them to see that you can go wherever you want to go. You just got to work for it.
Right.
So like whenever students come to my school, the first question I ask them is, what's your dream? The motto of our school is teach, lead, dream.
Hey.
Now I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to put you on the path to lead you.
Yes.
But you got to tell me what your dream, and then I tell the students, your efforts have to match your dream. You can't tell me, I want this, and that, and then you ain't willing to work for it.
Hello.
So that's kind of like the reputation that we've gotten as a school. I do have a low tolerance for students that are not serious about their education, so I'm very, very picky about who is actually admitted into the school. It's a small school, which really goes against the beliefs in Rwanda. The beliefs in Rwanda are if your school is big, it's successful. And so it's a very small school, and I'm really focused on the education of the students and making sure that, you know, setting them up for what they say they want.
Okay.
And so we're just getting, I'm gonna be serious, I'm just getting to the point now where I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. Like I'm starting to, it's not as much hard work because there's been a lot of valleys in this process. There's been a lot and a lot of hurt, a lot of weepy nights and all of that. And now we're just to a point now where I feel like this is, I see my vision coming to fruition. Even this year, I'm starting the primary section.
All right.
And I was
Congratulations.
working
Nice.
with Alan, the guy
Nice.
from Empano.
Nice.
I had a whole vision, 95-page vision before White Dove. And so my dream was to create like an IMG. Have you guys heard of IMG? It's in Florida. So it's a school and it trains world-class athletes.
Okay. Yeah, because when I'm reading about a little bit about your bio, you're very interested also in not only education but arts and
Let me
sports.
fix the string. Hold
Okay.
on 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. This is
Nice.
bad. Be right back. We gotta fix the string.
Okay.
Let
It's
me know when
getting
it's
kinda-
better. Okay. So we should be
It's
back.
turning. It's turning. Yes.
Is it better?
Oh yeah, nice. There we go. Okay, that's nice now. All right.
Cool.
So what I was saying is that not only did you have a passion for, of course, learning in the classroom, but you also have a passion for sports and the arts. So how do you tie that in with your school,
It
your
hasn't
programs?
been the easiest because it's not, Rwanda is very like academic, get ready for the national exam.
Okay.
They do have sports, they do have art classes, but it's not like the most important thing in the school. For me, it's just like we were just talking about food. There needs to be a balance. I feel like, and one of the reasons I really wanted to do it, something here, is I feel like I see all these kids that are running, leaping, jumping, and I'm always like, if you could take that and put it with a coach, you will find some real athletes out here. So the right now, the primary part for me, even though I've had this vision, I've given up on it, did it go off?
It's fine.
No. Given up on it. I got primary accreditation one time, then got it taken away. But for me, right now, it's Meagan and Kristen that are driving it because with the pandemic, it's keeping them like involved in things has been very hard because you can't do anything, because of the pandemic.
Right.
And I just feel like both of them are very athletic, naturally athletic, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this now. So I'm like, Lord, I'm gonna start small. It's even when we start in September, we're only starting with 3rd and 4th grade.
Okay.
Only 18 students total.
Okay.
I have partners coming in that are going to come and train. We're starting out with just athletics and running.
Okay.
But my dream is to one day have that school where students can come to go to school and also train.
Nice.
And create, be a part of not only uplifting sports in the country, but like the Olympic team.
All
I don't know
right.
if
I
you
was
saw
thinking
the
that.
Rwanda
Yeah.
Olympic team
Come on now.
this year. Praise the Lord. But I just think there's a lot of talent out there, and I do think right now they focus more on like older ages.
Okay.
But if you can start them younger, at like Megan's age, who is 8 years old, I think
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping.
Perfect. So, how many students do you have enrolled right now?
At White Dove right now we have 2 programs. So we have a national program, which is
Okay.
A level, and it's just 10th through 12th grade. We used
Okay.
to have O level national
Uh-huh.
program, but we closed it because when the pandemic hit, all national schools were shut down for 8 months, and a lot of parents pulled their kids and put them in international schools. You can't blame them for that. I live by the motto of every parent has the right to decide what's best for their child, so I don't get offended by things like that. But I just didn't see that section of the school being able to survive, so we closed that section. I wasn't terribly sad about it. But we closed that section. And then, in order to give an option to my students that were in the 7th and 9th through 9th grade, another vision that I had, but just never knew how to like bring it to happen, it just happened because of the pandemic. So I became an Ignition School, which is an online program.
Okay.
And I came under the umbrella of them.
Okay.
And now we have an online program
Beautiful.
for 7th through 12th grade. And
right.
many of the students transferred over. We had a great first year of that program. And now they also have elementary. Now I don't want the elementary to do online, so they will actually have me face to face, but I'll be using that same curriculum.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And your students, where are they from? I know it's not just Rwandan students. Where are your
No,
students
and this,
from?
I don't know why this makes me so happy. I mean, I know that there's other international schools here. They'll tell you we have 50, 60 nationalities. But one of the things that's different about me is I used to cringe when people would say, "Oh, you have an international school." I'm like, don't say that, because the idea that comes with an international school is that it's this expensive school, and they basically are schools that are more so for everybody else and not for the natives. Okay, and I was like, I came here, I want to educate children from Africa. Now it did start out where I was like, oh, Rwanda, but then they started coming. So we have Rwandans, we have Ugandan, we have Burundian,
Right.
Eritrean, Cameroonian. I'm not forgetting anybody, and DR Congo.
All right.
So, and then this
Okay.
year we actually have a Nigerian family
Okay.
joining. So I'm happy
That's
about
beautiful.
that. I'm proud of that, and I
Oh,
like
you should be.
Yeah.
You should be. Magnificent. So I know that I've learned that students transitioning from one school to the other here, which I didn't know before, like let's say you didn't make it in middle school, your grades weren't so good, and then there was no option, right? If you didn't do that well in middle school.
for here
So-
it comes down to the national exam.
The national exam. Okay.
So you still can score pretty low and still pass the national exam, but at the same time, there's a cutoff point where you pass and then they assign a school to you. So the government assigns a
Because
school.
see, my question is like, okay, so if you don't do so well, is there an option for those children?
The option is to go to like a trade type school.
Okay.
Some students will go straight into like a teacher college.
Okay.
And yeah, so think about the degree of teacher. So they go straight into a teacher's college, or they can go into like a trade, like construction or welding, like that. But a lot of students do still want to go the academic route.
Okay.
So one of the things that I think all private schools get is you get the national exams. They used to be taken in like November, and the results would come out in January.
Okay.
And then that's when you notice this big push. And the people that are coming to you are, a lot of times, they are the students who didn't do well, who didn't get assigned to school, and they're like, can I please get a placement in your school? Yeah.
So, with your success of turning the school around, what has been the outcome as far as the students' choices upon like graduation, grade 12? What are some of the fields they've been going into?
Oh, you know, there's some common answers you get whenever you ask students here what they want to be. Engineering is a big one.
All right.
I want to be an engineer, doctor, and then I always come back with what type. There's over 30 different kinds.
Right.
Doctor, finance.
Oh, wow.
But we actually at White Dove, we actually have students that are they're studying business. We have students that are they want to be pilots.
Wow.
And then of course we do have like some engineers and things like that. But the thing that's interesting is because our education systems are so different, and a lot of our students do go to the US, to get them to understand here, what you study in college is based on the combination you did in high school. So their mindset is, how can I study that, Haas, if I didn't have that combination in high school? And I'm saying, honey, when you go to the United States, you don't even have to pick a major in your first year. You can just take, and they're like, what? So a lot of times, one of the things that I enjoy about the work is exposing them to careers that they've never heard of.
Nice.
Because it's like the same old, and I'm like, do you know you can make, like I have students that, we have one girl, one of our partners is called Mind Leaps. amazing organization. It's started by an American woman named Rebecca. Mind Leaps. It's
Mind
in,
Leaps, okay.
It's in
Yes.
where I can't say.
Gotcha. Okay.
There,
Yeah.
near the Rumble. How are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yamarambo.
And
Yamarambo.
so one of our students from there, we have a
Alright.
partnership with them. She's a dancer, and she's a
Alright.
really good dancer. And she had no idea that she could study dance in university. She had no idea that she could get a degree or have a job in that. So there's so many things that they're not exposed to. So at White Dove, I'm always talking about the other possibilities, you know. So, but yeah, it's engineer, piloting, business. A lot of them still want to be entrepreneurs. That's
Alright.
big
That's
here.
nice.
So a lot of them
That's
still want to
good.
have their own businesses.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. That's so inspirational. You know, and you've done a tremendous job
Thank you.
with that school. Seriously, it's like, oh man, so inspiring. So, on another note, when's the last time you have been home to the U.S.?
The last time I was in the U.S. was in 2018. I was in New York City.
All right.
So I was taking my students for Black Girls Rocks, Black Girls Leads conference. I had
Right.
6 students that were chosen for it.
Okay.
First time, all of the students, I think, except for one, that have ever gotten their passport, got their passport as a student at White Dove
That's
to travel on one of our things. So only
Beautiful.
one did.
Beautiful. Aw.
And so I took 6 girls there, and we stayed. Ooh, that was a trip, boy. So I couldn't stay with them, of course. So they were on the campus of Bernard College, which is also
Okay.
connected to Columbia College, and I took them. But I had no money. I literally went to the USA with $50 to my name
Oh my goodness.
and a borrowed plane ticket. So there was a very nice agent here who allowed me to get a ticket on promissory, and I paid for it when I came back, but I was determined I'm going to take my kids. I wasn't taking a salary at that time. And I have 2 other goddaughters. They're twins, Raina and Rhea. They are now 24.
Oh.
And Rhea was in medical school in New York, and she said, "Auntie, come." And she lives like blocks away from Broadway. Okay, so she's like in
Beautiful.
Manhattan. And
Yes,
so
love Manhattan.
the first night, that was a trip, boy. Oh my gosh. But the first night, for some reason, I had never done this in my life. I read the ticket wrong. And then I realized we are landing in New York with 1 day before you actually have to go to the to the college, and I don't have anywhere for us to stay. And I had no money. We had raised money to help our students, and one of my students couldn't afford to pay for a ticket, so I gave her the money that would have covered my ticket, which is why I had to borrow a ticket from a ticket agent. And so I was in the Ethiopian airport, bawling my eyes out. But here's the perspective of life.
Yes.
So I'm American.
Uh-huh.
I've had my whole life or whatever, and I'm bawling my eyes out. We're about to land in New York City. I got 6 girls, other people's children. And you know how American parents are.
Yeah.
Where's my child? Where are you going to be with? So I'm like, okay, we have to send a message to your parents and tell them that everything is fine. And the girls are like, what's wrong? And I'm like, we don't have anywhere to stay. I read this ticket wrong. And they're like, oh, more to the adventure. Are we sleeping outside? Like, they're just excited because, you know what I'm saying? Now, these are not kids. And let me make this clear. Not all kids, some of our kids come from different levels of financial means.
Right,
So we have kids that come from well-to-do families here. We have kids that come from middle class. So this is not the thing of, you know. But they were so excited for the journey that they were like, Haas, we will live.
We'll be okay.
Don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, I can't have it. I'm sure if they see this video, they're going to be like, we remember that. I was bawling my eyes in that nasty airport. I'm sorry. Have you been to the Ethiopia airport?
Yeah.
So I called my goddaughter, and she said, Auntie, I have a place, I have roommates, but they're okay. We were in this, now you know it's Manhattan.
Yeah,
Nice apartment,
Small.
but small.
Very small.
6 girls and me, and her 2 roommates.
Wow.
She went and bought blow up beds. They were on an adventure. Like I'm like, put me in a bed. The girls are like, woo, blow up beds. You know, like they just, we're here, Haas. That's all that matters. I have a picture of them on the first night standing on Broadway.
I saw that.
That was the night we got
I love
there.
Broadway.
Yeah, and they were so excited, and we went to McDonald's, and they realized, okay, Haas was right. She said it's fast paced because you know at McDonald's in New York, you need to know. Now I'm stuttering. That's like I was telling him. I've been in Rwanda too long because I'm like, ugh. One of the girls got so tongue tied. She just said, "I'm not hungry," because they were like, "What do you want? What do you want?" What? She was like, "Oh no, I'm not hungry." You know,
she was like scared.
Yeah,
like,
but they had a ball. So
yeah.
It was actually a blessing in disguise. We had a whole day, which they wouldn't have had to explore Manhattan had I read the ticket right. And so the next day we got up and we just went to Broadway and we walked and they saw the street performers and all of that. And then I dropped them off at Columbia. They were there for a week.
Nice.
As I'm coming out of the dorm, Beverly, the founder of Black Girls Rock, is coming in. And she said, "Are you Patrice?" I said, "Yes." Because it was their first time having kids from Rwanda. And she said, "Let me just give you a hug." And I'm like, you know, like she hugged. And she actually, they actually also sponsored one of our girls. While we were communicating, I was like, one of our girls is really struggling to get the funds. And she said, "I will take care of it." But they had a ball. They had a ball. And I was so excited because I've always said, like, I want to be on Black Girls Rocks. I want to be in the audience, you know. And I haven't gotten there yet, but the fact that our students went. And I stayed with my goddaughter and with my $50 and stayed in that apartment and just rested and went back home.
Oh, man. This is mind-blowing. Your story is fabulous.
I did the same thing in Malaysia.
Oh, my goodness.
I've done it 3 times, you guys, going places.
Wow.
I had 3 students I had to take to Malaysia for with the MUN conference, and didn't have the money. I again got a ticket, had to pay it back or whatever. Took them on the way there. I'm telling the girls, now I don't know where I'm gonna stay. I'll drop y'all at this hotel. Okay. I don't know where I'm gonna stay. They said, "Haas, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, where are you gonna go?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just gonna trust God." When we get there, we get there. As soon as we get there, we're tired because it was a long trip. Okay, we get there. And as soon as we got there, somebody from the conference walks up and they said, "You know what? There's a group that's not coming. Oh. And the room is paid for."
The Creator got his hands on you.
Here's the key.
You are blessed.
Now this wasn't just a regular room. It was a suite.
Blessed.
And the hotel was a 5-star. With breakfast every day. The girls had, all of their stuff was paid for.
Wow.
And I did, you know, I can't say that I wasn't nervous going in, but I was just like, okay, God, you meet me everywhere that I need to go. Another time, no money. There with those girls for 5 days, came back home. People have no idea. Like, there's some people that look at me and they're like, "Oh, she travels here and she travels there," and they thinking she got it. And I'm like, y'all have no idea. You have no idea.
Wow. Oh my goodness, Patrice. I know I read it, but hearing it from your mouth, it's like, it's something that's whole nother level. Wow. Wow. So also I know with your godchildren, their dream is to visit. Yes, so they've never been, right?
They've never been. They've only been on a plane one time.
Wow.
I trained I trained the Rwanda national spelling team. I was the trainer.
Woo.
And we took kids to compete against 6 other countries. It's the first time it ever happened. I trained students, and we came in second. We should have been first. We won't go into the story, but we should have been first, but we came in second. When we got to the competition, we were actually laughed at by other East African countries because they said they speak English in Rwanda, and I'm like, you about to see. You about to see we not only speak it, but we can spell. All
right.
But we did very well. So when we did that, we took the bus there. I don't know if y'all have ever taken the bus to Uganda, but oh my goodness. Oh, gee, so we took the bus there, and Meagan and Christian, they have some family in Uganda. So that year they were having a family reunion. Everybody was going to Uganda.
Oh.
So they stayed with their mom in Uganda. They all went. And my Christmas gift to them was to fly back from Uganda on the plane. So that's the only time they've ever been on a plane. They didn't need a passport for that because they're East African. So they've just now gotten their passports. We've now gotten the permission for me to be able to travel with them. And they want to go to the USA. Megan is like, when we leaving? Tomorrow? So, and you know what? I want them to experience it. I love raising them here. They will be raised here.
Okay.
However, I do want them to experience other places.
Okay.
And of course, my home. Because America, as much as it might drive us crazy with some of the things that are going on, there's so much to do
Yeah.
that they've never been exposed to.
Yeah. Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Definitely.
roller coasters and water parks and snow that I'm not interested in, but to them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but then of course
Sweet.
they're not babies anymore, so their ticket is an adult ticket.
I know.
And I
know.
want them to enjoy. Truthfully, I'm not even worried about when we get there because I have really good people in my life, and my friends have watched them grow up, and everybody wants to meet Megan and Christian, and I know that they're going to spoil them right. But I just gotta get them there. Now, originally we wanted to go for Christmas. We had been invited by my other goddaughter's mom and their beautiful family. I know they would have a good time. But because the embassy was shut down, and visa applications are backed up, there's that, and then there's the financial part. But then I also started thinking, look, if we're gonna go through all this trouble trying to raise money, we need to be able to go for at least 2 to 3 months, not 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm an educator.
Right.
There are children in school.
Yeah.
So Christmas time is going to be 2-3 weeks tops.
Okay.
So why don't we get to June, let school in, and go to America the rest of June, July, August, and turn back around. Because I got to hit someplace. Everybody's spread out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Family is in New
it's
Jersey.
always,
Other family who are
Yeah.
friends, but who are like family, because I was there for 15 years, is Minnesota.
Yeah.
My other goddaughters, their family is in Oklahoma. Then one goddaughter is doing her medical residency in Alabama. The other one is running 5-star hotels because she has a master's degree in international. Oh God, Rain is gonna kill me if I don't. International hospitality.
Right.
And she's in another class. And
Nice.
they twins. They super bad. And I want them to meet Megan because I'm like, you see that?
Yeah.
Now I also use their aunties, and because they got a couple of one of their aunties here, one of their blood aunties was one of the first women safari drivers. Her name is Joanne. So they got, you know, in their own family, they got a lot of role models. But I'm like, my other goddaughters, look at them. Bria is an eye doctor now. Raina's got, you know, so I'm shooting for the summertime.
Okay.
But the tickets themselves.
I know it's a lot, and you know what I saw some comments in the chat section, and people I think they really want to support you. We need to support this sister right here. You are phenomenal.
Oh, no.
I'm not gonna do it.
He said, oh no.
You are phenomenal. You know, phenomenal woman. That's you. And whoa, it's amazing. It's nothing but God. God got you, honey. And for you to do this for children, not even blood relatives, that's amazing. You have a big heart, and I think we need to support this sister.
Definitely.
Do you have a GoFundMe?
I do.
Something? We got to
do.
support you. You're doing a lot.
I do.
You've done a lot, Patrice. You are a blessing to many people, hundreds of people, and you're such a big inspiration to me.
Thank you.
Because I'm a fellow educator as well.
I know.
I'm touched by your story. And you're also a singer.
Yeah. That part of my life is over. When I was in Minnesota, I sing with, I give shout out to Excelsior. I sing in a professional gospel choir for 10 years.
Nice.
And Excelsior was everything. Still is. The choir is no longer anymore. However, phenomenal people, phenomenal singers, some of my favorite people in the world to this day. The best laughs of my life came from traveling with Excelsior. Wow. We went all over. We were signed to Verity Records, won a Stellar Award, nominated for a Grammy, and I've sang just about with everybody, from Roberta Flack to Peter Bryson to Prince a few times.
See that pic with us.
Yeah.
What was it? Smokey.
There's a video of Prince. Did
about that.
Met the Doves from When the Doves Cried.
Stevie.
Okay.
Now Stevie wasn't with Excelsior. Stevie Wonder is actually my first pastor in Minnesota.
Wow.
Jerry McAfee. Now what's interesting about that is George Floyd. The pastor in Minnesota who spoke, one of the pastors who spoke at his service was Jerry McAfee, my first pastor. But Jerry McAfee is very good friends with Stevie Wonder. And so my best friend, Tanya Hughes Kendrick, her son, like I said, he could sing. So when Cameron, I always want to say he's 11, but he might have been older, I gave McAfee knows Tanya. It wasn't like I was introduced, but I said, Mac, can you please let Stevie hear this of Cameron singing? So Cameron was singing It's a Wonderful World. Okay. Tanya one day is on the highway. Tanya, if you see this, I hope she's on the highway driving. Phone rings. Hello. Tanya, this is Stevie Wonder. She's like, no, it ain't. Who's playing on my phone? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, it's Stevie Wonder. She started screaming, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? So he said, I want to invite you and Cameron and Patrice to come for the weekend. Stevie Wonder, I don't know if he still does it, but he used to do a Toys for Tot concert at the stadium every year. Wow. And so she hears from him, we're all excited, and then it's silent. And then, like, I think 1 to 2 days before it happened, we get a phone call in the middle of the night. Your tickets are ready. Go to the airport at this time. We go. And we ended up being there for, I think, 2 to 3 days in LA. Wow. Cameron sang. Stevie called him up on stage, and he sang, I want to say Superstitious. I'm not sure. But he told Cameron, okay, now 17,000 people in this thing. Me and Tanya on the sideline, standing with India Ari. Okay, on the sideline, right? And Tanya, and he says, Cameron, I want you to do what I do. So Stevie starts singing. Cameron's hitting every run, and they went nuts. But everybody was there. India Ari was like, bring him to the dressing room. Like, who is this kid? So in that particular trip, that's when I met like Magic Johnson and Steven Seagal and just a whole bunch of people, because we came in, we were with everybody else where they were. Now Prince was Excelsior, Kirk Franklin Excelsior, Donnie McClurkin Excelsior, Roberta Flack, Peter Bryson, Tina Marie, all of them is Excelsior.
Oh, you're killing me.
George Clinton fell asleep on my shoulder one time.
Really?
Lenny Kravitz on the other side. Woo! Yeah, so we sang,
Lenny
we
and
were
George.
with a lot of people.
I'm talking about George
George
He was cool.
He was cool.
Yeah, I like
A little
George.
stinky, but he was cool. We sang at Prince's. Prince had a concert in 2000. You know, that was the year that he had a concert.
Okay.
And so Excelsior sang backup for him on a song called The Cross. And if you ever see the video, you can actually see me in the video.
Okay.
In the video, we're behind him singing The Cross. But we also did other work for him. We did overdubs. He used to pay well, like $100 an hour for you to clap. I was like, I'll clap all night.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
But yeah, he was cool too. He was really cool. Yeah, being in Paisley Park, seeing the Doves. They were actually there, seeing it all. Yeah, it hurt when he died.
I know, it hurt. I heard a lot of people. It hurt us. Yeah. It was brilliant.
But that was
brilliant.
Michael Jackson.
No, let me tell you something. And this is a true story. I never got to meet Michael Jackson, but when I was a little girl, living in Sicklerville, New Jersey, my friends had tickets for Michael Jackson, and they had a special invite to have like a meet and greet with him, and I was supposed to go, and I got sick.
No.
So I never, no. I'm trying to think if I ever been close to a Jackson.
Oh,
I don't think so. I have been very close to Oprah, but still didn't get to meet her face to face. Oprah used to not allow tours of her studio, but our choir director for Excelsior had a connection, and we were in Chicago one time, so we got to go. And we actually took a tour of the studio, and they told us Oprah she's here in Harpo Studios, but if her door is closed, she doesn't want to be bothered. And when we got, I love Oprah Winfrey, so I was just like, oh my God. Like, she's also been a great inspiration in just the whole education piece. I'm always looking at her school. I wish that I had Oprah's money, because I would be doing something very similar to what she's doing.
Yeah. You gonna get there, sis. I believe it. You will get there. You're phenomenal. Yeah. So
I have a question. And you've been in Rwanda for 9 years. And you have a lot of people who just want to come visit or even try their hand at moving here. Do you have any advice that you could give anybody who wants to make the trip to the beautiful country of Rwanda?
You know what? I think my story is a lot different than the typical person coming. Mainly because I didn't come with a business idea. I didn't come with, I'm going to Rwanda to work. I really was just coming here to do some volunteer work and to leave. And even after I stayed, I volunteered for years before I was bringing any income in. Then I stopped taking an income so that my staff could be supported, them not knowing that. Even in this pandemic, there was a period of time where my rent was behind 8 months. 8 months. And people don't know, because they always just think, American, you have money. And I'm like, y'all don't know the struggle. That's not behind anymore. But if I were to advise people, and you're coming here and you want to set yourself up here, make sure that you've looked at the jobs that are open to us, because they actually have lists in immigration, where they're willing to open the jobs to foreigners. It's not just everything is open to us. Make sure that you've saved up some money before you come, and be ready for the way that things are done to change. A lot of what I've learned since I've been in Rwanda has actually come from talking to other people from other places and saying, okay, how did you cope with this? It was a Canadian lady who told me, honey, I remember one time I was frustrated and I was like, I had this to-do list, because I'm very A-type. And so I had this to-do list, and I'm like, I feel like I got nothing done today. And she said, honey, if you get one thing done, you have done a lot.
yeah.
And so she said, if you don't want to walk around frustrated all the time, just know. Because, in America, here you can register a business. That's the big thing. Oh, you can register a business in a day. You can register a business in a day. And that's about the easiest part of running a business here, registering it. Okay? So, but at the same time, the way that they do things, you're not going to go into an office and come out 15 minutes later. So get that out your head. So what I do to keep my sanity is I go when you come into work. So y'all clocking in and I'm right there. Hello. You know what I'm saying? And it is something that I've lived by since I've been here. Now I don't walk around frustrated because you're not moving to my East Coast speed that I'm used to. When it comes to families, I've had a lot of people say, I have children. I tell them, think about that. The reason is this continent is huge, and there's a lot of countries. Rwanda does have things to do, but they don't have a lot of daily things to do with your kids, okay? They have horseback riding, they have zip lining, you can go to the tea plantations, you can go on the swing thing, but are you doing that every weekend? Because they don't have the roller skating rinks, they don't have the amusement parks, they don't have that. So when you have kids, you feel like you're constantly trying to find something to keep you entertained. Seriously, because after a while you can't do those things constantly. You can't do the touristy type things all the time. So I'm like, think about that. And then there's also the education piece, because you're either going to come here and go to a very expensive international school, or you're going to homeschool, or some parents, people do actually come and say, I want my child to have the experience of the nationals, but the education, the way education is done is very different. So all of those things, they have to kind of figure that out before you come. As far, what do I love about Rwanda? I think it's beautiful. I love the weather. I love the people. I think that the people are very nice, and in majority. But there's good people and bad people everywhere. So don't be blind. And then I like the cleanliness. I love the leadership. You know, as Trump as for America, I was like, my president is Kigali. Like, you know, but I do. I love the leadership. Yes. And not only do I love the leadership, I feel like I understand it. You know, a lot of times, and I'm sure you guys have heard this because you're here too, and people are like, well, isn't it strict or whatever? And I'm like, in order to understand a place, you have to understand the history. And no, I don't feel like I'm living in a country where I'm like, you know, uncomfortable or anything like that, but I understand the strictness. Like, I laugh now at the United States. I'm like, y'all fighting over masks?
Yeah, for real.
Can't do that.
For real though. For real though.
You just do what you're told.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I get that. Like, you're not gonna be standing outside chasing people talking about I'm gonna hunt you down because you're trying to make me smash. You're not, you know. So I get that. But my advice is just do your research and understand. Which is one of the reasons that when I wrote to you, I told you I like you guys' page, because you guys tell the true reality. What I don't like is when people come like they're coming to Wakanda. You're not coming to Wakanda. You're not coming to Wakanda. You're coming to a country in Africa.
Yes.
And while there's many things to love,
Yeah.
life ain't always going to be easy, because it's very different than what you're used to. And I like the fact that you guys show some of those realities. A lot of people don't do that.
Wow. Thank you for even tuning in and supporting us, watching, you know, the content that we make, because a lot of people don't understand that's not easy either. Making content and showing people the reality of everything and what it really is. And like we always say, visit first. Visit, you know? Visit, you know? So then you can see if it agrees with your spirit.
Right.
Or agrees with you as a person, or you and your family, if you have a family, you know. But there are many people that do come and stay. And there are a few people that leave. They're like, oh, it's beautiful, but it's just not for me. And that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it's okay. So definitely, we appreciate you, your time. And we're going to put her GoFundMe, even if she don't want to. We're putting it in the description. So please support this sister. She works very hard. She's amazing.
And when I take them, I am going to journal the whole thing.
Yes, please.
So
You have a
I
book
will
on your
make
hands.
sure
Oh my goodness.
that, you know, people are able to see them enjoying, because they are two amazing human beings,
Oh,
and I
please.
want to show the whole journey
Please do.
for them. Yes.
Please do. You have a story. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Patrice, for your time, and our sister too. She Philly. Hey. Yeah, that was just amazing just to know that she's from there as well. But definitely thank you again, and we wish you much success in the future with the school and anything you put your hands to, because you're very multi-talented.
Oh, thank you.
And we wish much success for your children at home as well as at your school. Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Any last words?
Thank you all for tuning in and watching this beautiful live we have with this beautiful lady and her beautiful story.
Every time I watch your videos, I'm like, put her on. Put her on.
Oh my God, amazing. This is probably one of my top 10 interviews. I love it. Love it.
Really?
Yeah, love it.
It is a lot of people writing in the comments. We haven't really talked about them, but a lot of people said you look like a local. Do you hear that a lot?
It's not even just hearing it. I've never met a native that didn't think I was Rwandan.
Man.
It's never happened in 9 years. I always have to tell them I'm not. And now it's kind of common because when I go to like a supermarket, they'll remember me and they'll be like, they'll start speaking in Kinyarwanda like, oh, but there's never been a time. I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Do you speak any of the language?
Very little, please.
Okay.
Don't.
All right. We won't do the quiz today. Yeah, we won't have the quiz. But yeah, I believe that's it. But thank you for everybody who is tuning in. Thank you to all the members, subscribers. I see the unknown traveler in the building. Patricia, thank y'all. We love and appreciate y'all. And yeah, we the unapologetic nomads, and we unapologetic, nigga.
Nomadic.
Nomadic.
All right, peace, family.